Coming up on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell, joined by Ron Richards and Win Twitdow, and we have a lot of news in this week's episode. That's normally the case, but this week it feels extra, so you're going to enjoy it. We have Google Authenticator finally doing Cloud Sync. Finally, so many people are going to be super happy about that news. BMW supporting Android's digital car key technology. That's kind of neat. OnePlus Pad, we get pricing and availability on that. You're not going to have to wait too long. And we kind of talk about how it compares to the Pixel tablet. It's just an interesting tablet time right now. Reddit ceases its free API access. What is that going to do to free Reddit apps on the Play Store? I tell you what, it's going to mess with their day. That's what. And your feedback and so much more coming up next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is All About Android, episode 627, recorded Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. A bounty of bezels. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Decisions. Don't let complexity block your company's growth. Decisions' no-code, rules-driven process automation software provides every tool needed to build custom workflows, empowering you to modernize legacy systems, ensure regulatory compliance, and renew the customer experience. Visit decisions.com/twit to learn how automating anything can change everything. Hello and welcome to All About Android, your weekly source for latest news, hardware, and apps. It's like I need a third hand with a pointer finger to swoop in.
Which wouldn't be creepy.
That would be
totally
weird.
Fine.
For next week's episode, I will arrange for Burke to be back there to go like that or something. No, I won't. That would be really weird. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards, back in the chair.
And I'm Win Twitdow.
Yes.
Yep, still here.
Still doing the thing that's sometimes a little weird when we start the show, but always a good time, especially when I'm on with the both of you. Although I have to say, so Ron, you were missed, and I had a great time hanging out with Win. Just the two of us did the show last week. So
yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Mono. Wait, is that right?
That works. I mean, it works for me. If it works for you, I guess.
Mono a womano.
Mono a womano.
Womano.
The twofer episodes are always nice. Those are when you get kind of just two people and it's indeed. I will say that that as I was walking the streets of Disney World last week on Tuesday, I did have a nagging feeling that I was supposed to be somewhere. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, right, the show, right? Like it's so ingrained now. Like if I'm not on the show on Tuesday nights, it's almost like a muscle memory. Like, wait, I'm supposed to be doing something. Like I feel like I forgot something.
What's happening? I sense a disturbance in the force.
I need to be somewhere. Oh, wait. I need to be at Thunder Mountain. Is that one of the roller coasters?
It is one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I did.
For a second there, I thought maybe I was conflating or mixing up two different theme park names for roller coasters.
Ron, were you there when
I got it.
When the ride caught fire?
What?
I was not. That was in Disneyland, and I was not.
Oh,
the ride did not catch fire. A prop in the nighttime show caught fire. So
okay. See, this is how fake news spreads, Burke.
Exactly.
See, you were caught flat-footed. Little did you know that Ron, though he doesn't do a podcast that's all about Disney theme park news, he could, based on what he knows about them.
I could.
How you intend for it has to be malicious.
Yeah.
I'm not malicious in this sense at all.
That's true.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Not in this sense.
Not in this sense.
We'll give you a pass this time. Well, it's good to have you all here. It's good for you to join us. Welcome to our comfortable living room. Go ahead, have a seat. Pour yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a tea. If you want an orange juice, that's okay too, because a lot of people listen to this in the morning. Whatever you're drinking, sit back and relax. Enjoy it. And let's get into the news.
Oh, all I got to say is I'm so on this whole chat GPT bandwagon. The second I can write and speak my Android news bits.
Oh, man. I can't wait. Personally, I can't wait to see what ChatGPT does. When you do that, are you going to train it on your previous news bumpers and then?
Oh, God.
No.
Wait, that would be not there, what would the point be?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could train it on Brian Burnett's or Chad or
no, that I don't believe we're going to have any training involved because I don't really have anything good to train it on.
Okay. All right. Maybe we just let ChatGPT be ChatGPT. Yeah. I mean, that's all robots want anyways.
Just let ChatGPT be ChatGPT. Just let it. Listen, sometimes you just got to let somebody be themselves and you got to let ChatGPT be ChatGPT. So.
Wow, that is really it's weird to hear that. ChatGPT be ChatGPT. It's just a lot of letters, man.
Let's talk about Android.
Okay, all right. Yeah. We're dancing around the news here. I think this is pretty cool. This is certainly news that a lot of people have been waiting for because we've talked about two-factor authenticator apps in the past. Definitely on this show. I use Auth. I don't know if I'm supposed to out myself with that kind of information from a security standpoint, but I've used it primarily because it makes it easy because of its cloud syncing to like switch from device to device. And, I use a lot of devices. And so that keeps things easy for me. Google Authenticator, I probably would have used it if it had cloud connectivity because it's a little closer to the Google thing, but they haven't had it. Meanwhile, Google Authenticator has been around since 2013, I believe, so a very long time to not have this feature, highly requested. And what am I getting at? Well, they finally added it. Two-factor authentication codes now sync with the Google account. And this is actually pretty cool because when you set up a new device, once you log into that new device, the authenticator will be automatically set up with your account as well. So kind of makes
which I got to admit as somebody who uses Google Authenticator, and every time I get a new phone, I have to go through the process of migrating my Google Authenticator codes and accounts to the new phone, right? And honestly, it's not a bad process. You just need to have both phones, and it opens up a QR code. You open up a QR code on the old phone, you scan it with the new code, and it's added. But account syncing and clouds, cloud management and stuff like that would be welcome as an authenticator user. So, and we went. I feel like earlier this year, Jason, we had the 2FA. The 6 weeks of talking about 2FA and everybody promoting Auth because of this function. And, the only defense I had for Google Authenticator is that I've been using it for years and it's the one that I've got all them loaded in, just being too lazy to migrate everything to Auth.
Sure.
So now I don't have to. Yay.
Well, and I think it's a very good point that you point out. It is not incredibly inconvenient. Like if it's as much as pointing, a QR code and bloop, your accounts are there, great. Where this becomes a really big deal is if someone steals your phone or you lose your phone and that phone has all of your authenticator, your two-factor authenticator codes via Google Authenticator on it, and there's no syncing out of it, you have to go through great lengths to kind of get there again. You could actually find yourself in a really bad situation very quick. So it's kind of surprising to me that this hasn't happened sooner. Burke, you were definitely slyly hinting for the video viewers the headline or the subhead on the Verge article that mentions, something like this, greater, convenience comes added risk. And that is, of course, the truth, right? The easier, when you intermingle security and easier to use, you're usually kind of reducing the layer of security or reducing the amount of security you have when these convenience features are added in. But, it's always a balance game. Like, are you willing to take on a little bit more risk in order to keep these things a little bit more secure or a little bit easier to access down the line?
Yeah, that's always the thing with these kind of systems where the more convenient it is, especially with kind of syncing, it does end up kind of reverting back to a single point of failure. So if someone can break into your Google account, muy malo, but you should be taking extra steps anyway. And we've talked about some other kind of Google account like issues where you should just kind of maybe just reevaluate your Google account, security and make sure it's super, super tight, especially since we rely on them for everything. Also in this article, it says that account syncing is indeed optional. So if you're feeling like you don't want to, if you're okay with like the manual process and you don't want to add that added risk, you don't have to. You can say no, thank you.
Good point.
No thanks.
Yeah, and you better say thank you, because these are, at the end of the day, it's robots, and we want to set ourselves up for a soft landing later.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, thank yous are
robot overlords.
So, yeah, that's good news. I know it's going to make a lot of people happy. We've heard about this. I do, I don't know how many emails that we've gotten throughout the years about this like cloud syncing to 2FA and Google Authenticator issue. So we won't be getting those emails anymore, apparently. That's okay. There's other things to email us about, like maybe using your phone as a key for a car. That's just a random split second on the point thing that I'm throwing out there with no real reason.
High in the sky, kind of like, oh my God, wouldn't it be cool if type thing, or they'll never be able to do it.
Yeah. Anyways, so let's move on to the next story that has nothing to do with what we just said.
Because BMW is actually bringing car key support to Android, and is utilizing UWB on hardware that supports it. It's called Digital Car Key Plus. And support for Pixel and Galaxy phones running Android 13 to start. And this is a direct quote. It says, the vehicle can be programmed to lock or unlock as the customer approaches or walk away with their device, just as a conventional vehicle key with comfort access functionality. The orchestrated welcome light display and light carpet also function as with the physical key, depending on the vehicle equipment. And it's currently supported on BMWs produced after November 2022. And now, before you freak out over this, they're already doing this with key fobs. Right? Like, so it's not like this is it's like, oh, well, what if somebody gets your phone and they can get in your car? What if somebody gets your key fob? They can get in it's the same effing thing as far as I'm concerned. So it's like, I think this is really cool and neat. So, but I don't have a BMW. So when they bring it to Subaru, I'll be paying attention.
I really appreciate you heading that off, Ron. Like, hey, everybody slow your roll. This is already kind of a thing, again, with security and having a thing and keeping that thing safe so that your things don't get stolen. I wanted to kind of insert the word thing in there a few more times, but yeah, totally good point. And this is kind of cool. I wouldn't mind that for other cars.
Yeah.
Just because, I always have, if I tap to, because imagine the workflow of like, you get out your car, you lock your car, you unlock your car, we have to pay for like a lot of things now. So it just seems like to make sense that now I can use my phone to unlock the car. I love it.
So last year we got a Tesla. I don't talk about it very much. There's like a small layer of shame with that, because this was before the Elon Musk stuff went full throttle.
Do you need a top hat and do you want to twirl your mustache and your monocle?
I've got a point. I've got a point. Okay. I didn't realize this because I didn't own a Tesla before, but they do with the app. It unlocks your car, but it doesn't use ultra wideband. It uses Bluetooth. And so I'm hoping that with UWB, it's better than it is with the Tesla using a Bluetooth, because every once in a while, like in my flippin' driveway, I go out to the car and you expect it to unlock and it's locked. And I sit there for like 30 seconds, like, okay, unlock the phone, launch the Tesla app, make sure that it's connected to Bluetooth, tap the unlock button, and then eventually it goes beep, beep, and it unlocks. And it's just kind of annoying. So hopefully it doesn't do that.
And imagine how quickly you could be in the phone if you had just a piece of metal cut in the shape of a key that went in the little spot.
Yeah, that's true. But you can't even do that in a Tesla. They give you a card. They give you this black card that goes.
Yes, I've used the card. Yeah,
they're
so afraid of losing it. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all the way in the wallet, and then I just get mad because I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to use the card. Damn it, the phone's supposed to work.
I went to a wedding at Joshua Tree a couple of years ago, and I flew out to LA, and then one of my best friends lives in LA, and he has a Tesla, so we all drove out on his Tesla, and then he was in the wedding party and I wasn't, so it's like, oh, can you take the car and go do this and go get all this sort of stuff, and just handed me the key card, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like, oh, you hold it up to the door to open it, and I was just like, oh God, I was just like, this is like, just give me a key. But I will say, having the key, having the comfort, whatever they call it, what do they call that? Comfort accessibility or whatever it is, comfort access functionality. I mean, I do have a Subaru, and I just walk towards the car and it beeps and unlocks, like, because it knows it detects me. So like, there's a way to make this work and balance and not be so dependent on the technology. And if anybody's going to figure it out, BMW will. So
yeah. Yeah. And, these are also connected vehicles. I know that Tesla is. I'm assuming the BMW is. So if someone really did, get my phone, get into the vehicle, and go somewhere. There are ways to track these things, So,
yeah.
I mean,
cameras and
not that that's the best, kind of solution, but yeah, exactly. There's a lot of technology in these things now, including tracking where they're going. So, anyways, if it's the future, it's the future. It is when it works. In my experience, when it works, it's actually really great. And I'd say like 85-90% of the time it works. Just that 10% of the time when I'm standing out in my driveway like a chump with my phone. Why isn't it unlocking? It just feels dumb, But anyways, so yay, there you go, BMW. Good job. And now a different direction. We're going to veer off into a new lane and go in the direction of crashing apps.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So crashing apps, much more safe than crashing car. There's not a segue there.
Yeah.
So crashing apps very often, not all the time, but very often, if you have an app crash, hopefully the lovely, friendly dev behind it has already gotten a fix out for it, but you may not know about it. Well, in this case, Android and specifically the Google Play Store now has a new feature that is supported on Android 7. That's Nougat. That's Nougat. Android Nougat and above, where if you have an app crash, Google Play services, or I presume, or Google Play Store rather, will be able to detect if there is an update available, and it will actually send you a message kind of prompting you to try the update in response to the crash. And this actually is super valuable because very often, developers become very, very well aware very, very quickly when people are unhappy about crashes. And we usually, I like say most devs are trying very hard to fix that. And then the problem just becomes communicating that a fix is available. So this is actually super awesome. And the fact that it is available all the way down to Android 7 API 24, 25 for my dev fam is pretty awesome. Presumably it's because of Google Play services, because it updates independently. But yeah, just something that will give you hopefully more options when you get a crash instead of just, crying or cursing. Hopefully if there is an option to update, and hopefully if your neighborhood friendly dev has created a fix, you will be prompted and you'll just kind of be on your way, hopefully, to a more crash-free experience, hopefully.
Yeah, the pop-up, I think you specified this, but just to kind of punctuate, the pop-up only appears if there actually is an update waiting,
right?
Which is really great because, when I have an app that crashes, I don't automatically think, oh, maybe there's an update that fixes this. But that fix might actually be in that update. So it's a great kind of reminder for someone to just hit the button, boop, and maybe that ends up fixing the problem and they can move on with their life, and it saves you, the developer, from receiving all of that feedback or those angry emails after the fact. So yeah, I think it's a great little feature, kind of one of those kind of seemingly minor quality of life improvements to the OS that could have a pretty big impact on the user experience and on the developer experience.
It's kind of crazy why there's this gap in communication, because so many times we'll see like a 1-star review. We know that the crashes are bad. We'll do our best to fix it. And of course, we cannot communicate directly with that person and be like, hey, can you update? And we just hope that, between, presumably marketing, if you're lucky to have it on, at your job, or, that people just check for updates. But understandably, actually, when I know even when I have an app that crashes, I don't really actually check the Play Store for updates. So that's always been a gap. I don't know why. It's just brilliant. It just makes so much sense, and I don't know why we didn't do this before. But yeah, totally. Very, very, very often, the first thing that if you contact your dev will do, they'll say like, "Are you up to date on the latest version?"
Right.
So there we go.
It's like the patented. Yeah. Did you turn it off and back on again?
Turn it off and on again.
Exactly. Developer world.
Yeah. So there you go.
Running the most current version of the app. No, start there, then let me know. It's kind of first and foremost. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Happy to hear it. All right. Let's take a break and thank the sponsor of this episode of All About Android, and then we will get into some hardware news. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Decisions. Decisions gives IT and business experts the tools to automate anything in your company, and it's all within a no-code platform. So you aren't required to understand the complex syntax of code in order to make these things happen. Decisions is proven to fix any business process and prepare you to withstand economic uncertainty. Recession resilience requires a deliberate management of resources and the flexibility to adapt at a moment's notice. And the Decisions no-code environment makes it easy for your team to collaborate, to build and adjust workflows, dynamic forms, and decisioning processes that fit your unique and ever-changing business needs. And it's especially important with today's IT talent shortage. Decisions process automation software is a complete toolkit that allows developers and business users alike to build their applications and automations, no code required. Like I said, it's a no-code platform. It's powerful. It includes robust rules and workflow engines and a host of pre-built integrations, which is really nice, that connect to any legacy system via API, all within a simple drag and drop visual interface design. It's very easy to understand. It can be deployed on-prem. It can also be deployed in the cloud. Now, companies were caught just completely unprepared at the onset of the pandemic, to say the least. But Decisions customers were fully equipped to respond. In fact, one of the country's largest private banks built an entire PPP loan application process for small businesses affected by COVID-19. All it took them was 2 days. They were the first to market, issuing $1 billion in loans before their competitors even started. And they can thank Decisions for that quick movement. Decisions lets you customize workflows to automate the small decisions, producing faster results with greater accuracy. This allows your team to focus on the important decisions in your company. You can scale your business to better serve your customers while reducing operational costs and, of course, saving your team valuable time. And this is just a really good example of how Decisions automation software can help. It's just one of many examples, but Otis Elevator implemented Decisions to run daily pulse checks across their 2 million units. They use that automation to do this on a global scale. And by finding potential problems before they occur, they actually avoid downtime. They manage their service technicians even more efficiently than they could without. So if you happen to be riding an Otis elevator, you can rest assured you're going to arrive safely to your destination. As a recession approaches, the durability of a business's foundation will directly impact its performance and ability to survive. So how strong is your foundation? You can make it stronger, right? Well, Decisions can help. Decisions automation platform provides the solution to any business challenge, automating anything and changing everything to improve your company's speed to market, your financial growth, and your operational success. They help industry leaders alleviate bottlenecks and automate pain points in their business so you can do what you do best, and that's change the world. To learn more about Decisions no-code automation platform and scope your free proof of concept, all you got to do is visit decisions.com/twit. Go there, check it out for yourself. You're going to love it. That's decisions.com/twit. And we thank Decisions for their support of All About Android. And now it's time for hardware. We need more drama on this show. We need more acting.
I would like to add. I would like to add a little reverb to your mic if we can.
Yes,
Jason.
please.
A little echo, a little tremolo.
Now it's time for hardware.
I think if we can just get Jason like one of those like a foot pedal
effects unit.
Could
I get a guitar foot pedal, multi-effects unit, 6 different push buttons?
I think I know someone who might have that stuff. It's that guy, right?
I think that's.
Yeah, it's probably me. I probably have those at home. You don't act, I know that sounds really cool, Ron, but you don't want that. Not on a podcast.
I know.
Not really.
I know. It's true.
Okay.
It's true. It would be cool to watch though. If we could make the podcast more like a Motley Crue.
Yeah, or maybe I'd have like a digital turntable. So every once in a while we'd say something and I'd like
exactly.
Start scratching.
Wait, no, we need to put the whole desk on that rig. Wasn't the drummer of Motley Crue? Didn't he have
yeah.
rig? Or was that?
Go upset. No, that was Def Leppard.
That Leonard Skinner.
Def Leppard.
That was Def Leppard.
My bad.
The floating drum rack that would go upside down and everything. And
yeah, my bad.
We could do that in here. We've totally got the room, and I know that Burke has nothing better to do than to build something like that, right, Burke?
Oh, I'm totally on it.
Okay.
Like
all right.
seconds after.
It's top priority. I know we've got Google I/O coming up here in a couple of weeks, but this is priority.
I don't know about rotating.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll start small.
All right. Well, let's talk about something Android specific that's interesting. Okay. Because I think high on our list of things that we've wanted has been a Pixel foldable. Correct. I mean, that's that's something that I know we've been talking about. Jason, I feel like Jason and Huynh, we've been talking about for the past year of the rumors of Pixel foldable and all that sort of stuff. I/O is a mere 2 weeks away. Speaking of which, Jason, we didn't even mention. I'm happy to report to everyone that I will be at Google I/O this year for the first time. My return after 8 years. I will be there in Mountain View with Win, with Jason, with Flo, with Michelle, with everybody. Like, I'm very excited. We're all going to be there. It's going to be a blast.
Awesome.
And I'm really excited to see the Pixel Fold because pretty sure they're going to show it because here enough, a leak has happened. Pixel leaks continue. The prolific leaker Kuba Wojciechowski has a video of the Pixel Fold basically folding and unfolding. There it is. If you're watching the video version of the show, you can see the Pixel Fold folding and unfolding.
Oh, there it is. It's folding and it's unfolding. Look at it.
And sure enough, and it's unfolding. And sure enough, people who have seen it are now making fun of it because of the bezels that are visible inside. And as for cameras, apparently it's got a 48 megapixel primary character on the back with a I never can say this right. f/1.7. What is aperture? What is the right way to say that?
F to 1.7.
F to 1.7.
I believe, something like that.
OIS and an 82-degree field of view. So that's our sneak peek at the Pixel Foldable. But wait, it doesn't stop there. The other hotly anticipated piece of hardware coming from Google is, of course, the Pixel tablet, which we've seen. Like, Google's already shown us that. We know it's coming, right? But if you're looking for something to leak about the Pixel tablet, what's left other than pricing? Pricing leaks, according to WinFuture's Roland Quant, says that pricing looks like 600 to 650 euros. Which, what is that in American? That's roughly about, what is 600 euros?
650 euros.
It's 658. Yeah. So $658
700.
American.
Yeah.
Which is a pricey for a tablet, my friends. And he says that it will come in 128 gigabyte and 256 gigabyte configurations. And the Pixel tablet dock, which we also know exists, leaked on Amazon. It looks a lot like the Nest Hub base, which isn't a surprise. And it's got 4 connection pins that connect to the tablet. And the Amazon listing showed a price of $130. So there you go. Pixel Foldable. What do you guys think? Do you think that Google's going to be mocked for their entry into the foldable space because of all the bezels, or what?
I don't know. Well, yes, they're going to be mocked. That's just going to happen.
No matter what.
No matter what, unfortunately.
I mean, the tablet also has a bezel. It's just a bezel-full. It's a bezel-full generation of hardware. I don't care, honestly. Like,
it's a bezel-full bounty. Is what it is.
It's a bounty of bezels. Is that
a bounty of bezels?
A bounty of bezels. That's probably like the flock, whatever the plural word for that. To be honest, this is just my personal preference or lack thereof. I don't necessarily care about bezels that much. And when you have that much horizontal space, I'm not going to care about an extra millimeter, 2 millimeters at top or bottom. Seriously. Like, I mean, I am not. I'm very bezel immune now. So I mean, and also, I mean, just look at it. Like, I mean, Flo and I have talked about how narrow the Z Fold 4, closed is, so that front screen is just barely usable. Look how nice and wide, like the front, the folded version of the Pixel Fold is. And then that just results in more horizontal space. So, don't care. Also the pinhole camera on the Z Fold 4.
No good.
So no, it's kind of muddy and gross. So
isn't it under display? That camera is under display?
It is under display. Like it's under display. So I think that contributes to the ness of it. So I'm like, here, just give me. I'll give you a bezel. Give me a better inner camera.
Okay,
so doesn't bother me. But that's just me. It's cool if you don't like bezels.
I don't mind. I know that we go through a lot of transformations on this show in real time over the years. And as trends happen, our tastes change and everything. I know that there was a time where I was very anti-bezel and everything. But like seeing this news, I really couldn't care less, to be honest. Okay, so it's got a little bit thicker of bezels. Is that really the hill that we're all going to die on now? I don't know. Whatever. I think I'm interested. I'm very curious to see this phone. And but I also really like Google's hardware, even though, on the market level, Google doesn't, pose any threat to anyone that's really doing a lot with phones right now. Samsung, Apple, like Google's not really posing any threat with any of their hardware. But I'm happy that they're doing what they're doing. And I'm sure the next one's going to have less bezel and you'll be happy. But yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I do think that the tablet price and then the dock, like we were talking about this a little bit last week on This Week in Google, because we had this news then. And pricing what we have right now is a Nest Hub, right? $100, $200 for kind of the comparable of this Pixel tablet and the dock. That would be, I'm guessing the tablet itself is probably going to be more like $556 maybe, depending on the configuration. But then you add on another 120 or 130 for that dock, and this thing's supposed to kind of be like, it's like a Nest Hub, but it's also a tablet. Like, they better be selling it as a tablet and it does the Nest Hubby things, and not the other way around, because $100 to $200 compared to $600 to $700 is a big swing in price.
Agreed. At $650 to $700 in price, that's got to be a tablet that blows me away in terms of what the experience is, how it all works, and also it can be this hub and it can be this home control and stuff like that. I do not want a home control that can snap off and become a tablet and do, it's got to be focused on what the tablet experience is like, and that comes with. And this is the developers we've worked with who have made apps to make the Pixel tablet experience better than any other tablet experience you've ever had. That's an absolute requirement for me at that point. Yeah.
But again, I'm curious. I mean, it looks like a nice piece of hardware. I wonder how much it's been a while since I've used a tablet with any sort of regularity. And so I'm curious, will this be a device that kind of pulls me back into it? I don't know. Remains to be seen.
I love my Lenovo. I love my tablet. I've been using it more than ever because I brought it on the vacation last week. And
great for those situations.
Well, I ended up reading the kids bedtime stories with it. Like there was Google Books had a free Disney bedtime stories thing. So I used that. And so I've been using it more and more. And, admittedly, I will say that like the majority of my usage of the tablet is basically like as a Kindle, as a reading device. I use it to read books, in bed, but I've lately been I'm reading the Oral History of Hollywood, which is like 3 inches thick. And so it's actual book.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It was fun. It's really good. But I'm excited to finish that book and get back to using the tablet for the things that I use it for. And everybody says, use it as a media device. I rarely use it as a media device, really. Now that I don't go to now that I don't go to a gym to go work out or run on a treadmill or anything like that. Like I have a treadmill with a tablet integrated into the treadmill so I can watch TV that way and that sort of thing. But I still dream the tablet dream of a productivity device, of something where I can do email and work on it and all that sort of stuff that isn't quite a Chromebook, that is a little more flexibility, but it's not mainly because I'm still stuck at home, but it's not totally folded into my workflow as of yet. So I mean, I'll be right there on day one for that Pixel tablet, although $700 is way more than for me. The tablet sweet spot is like max price $350. That's personally for me. I know the iPad Pro is much more expensive. It's north of 500 and all that sort of stuff. But for me, I feel like the nature of the device, it's a cheaper device. It's a sub $500 device.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Looking forward to it. Before we venture onward, I don't know if you saw it in the doc, Burke, but it's time for
we got some breaking news.
We got some breaking news. Let's do it. Throw that bumper onto the screen. Fill our ears with its wonder. as you wonder, what is the breaking news? Just more like a correction than a breaking news. But so maybe I'm overplaying it, but it was actually Motley Crue that did the upside down drum thing.
There we go. Good to get it clarified.
Yeah. It's important to call it out.
You're getting ahead of the tidal wave of emails that we were going to get.
Basically what I'm doing. Yeah. I know people are going to write in. Although when you pointed out, isn't that like, don't a lot of drummers do that?
I feel in the 80s to 90s there was a lot of, I feel like, drummer hamster wheels or drummer rigs, whatever. What is that? What's the name of the ride that did that? Anyway, yes. It was a lucky guess on my part. So
I'm sure you're right. I mean, Tommy Lee couldn't be the only innovator in the drumming world, drumming upside down. So, but if there was a band to do it, Motley Crue, I believe it. So anyways, when you've got the next actual Android related news to talk about.
Yes, and the foldable fun does not stop around here because good old Motorola, who has been in the foldable game longer than Google has recently given a teeny tiny peeky weeky of the 2023 Razr. This is the teaseriest of teasers. Like the actual official video is really just the glimpse of a silhouette of the Razr. But it is upcoming, likely releasing in June. And yeah, here we go. Let's check out that for video stream.
Oh,
you can kind of just check out
outlines.
Outlines.
Oh,
wow.
2 circles.
Yep.
I saw it.
Probably. As ungratifying as that teaser is, it does seem like some previous renders that we talked about are going to be somewhat accurate in that this new version is a big step up. So there's kind of been like a really interesting like evolution of the Razr, smartphone foldable in the last few years. Like it launched in 2019 with the kind of throwback, a recreation of the old school Razr phone, which a lot of us found so cool, and which the smartphone version of which I have somewhere in this drawer. But, people didn't really respond to that too much. And then they kind of revamped it again to be more very much like the Z Flip 4 with a little kind of smaller kind of 1-inch display at the bottom kind of around the cameras. And now with the 2023, if the rumors are true, and we're pretty sure they are, this will be the screen won't cover the entire front cover, including kind of wrapping around the cameras in the front. And it will presumably be like something like, I think I had a number. Yeah, there actually was a leak by a Motorola executive, I think, on Weibo, where he actually did specifically say that it is going to be a 3.5 inches screen on the outside. So, I mean, compare this. Yeah, there we go. I can't actually find this post anymore. I don't know if it's because I don't have a Weibo account or something, but yes, it sounds like, yes, it indeed will be this kind of large screen that takes up the entire outer cover of the phone when folded. So compare this to the Oppo Find N2 Flip, which I know Flo talked about as well, which is 3.26 and is in the form of like a mini smartphone on the outside of the cover. And of course, compare it to the Z Flip 4, which only has that whittle 1.9 inch screen kind of at the bottom around the cameras. And you can see like this is how Razr is trying to distinguish themselves in the foldable or in the flippable foldable space. But if you don't need all that screen and you're kind of feeling a little more something smaller but still functional, there will be a Razr Lite version that is still mimicking that Galaxy Z Flip 4 style with the very small, one and something inches screen at the bottom. So there you go. There's going to be 2 flippables.
There'll be the Razr, and then there'll be like the butter knife. Would be the other one. Yeah. Marketing. Nice. You got that one for free, Motorola.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, is that the smaller one? Kind of like the little, little glass. Yeah, enough room for a handful or like a small collection of things, or maybe a clock or something.
Very, very Z Flip 4-y. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's like they're basically giving you a Z Flip 4 and a little something extra and new for all of us that are still like, kind of that are skeptical about Razr's current flippable offerings. They're trying to just leapfrog over the competition, which is great. Which is what we want to see. More foldables, more flippables, more different form factors.
Yeah.
Tons of fun.
You know, Motorola's been doing this Razr thing now for a few years. They've got, even Motorola has the jump on Google when it comes to foldables.
Yeah, man.
So it's interesting. Interesting to see where it's all heading. And speaking of the jump on other manufacturers, I don't know, horrible segue. OnePlus, we've talked about, has a tablet coming out soon. And actually, we have more information on the OnePlus Pad. So this would be OnePlus's first tablet entry. And it turns out we have cost, we have release date details, pre-sale this Friday, that is April 28th. You can buy it in pre-sale for $479 via OnePlus Direct. And then they will also have some other attachments for it, or accessories for it. $149 for a magnetic keyboard option that has an integrated trackpad. That's what you see if you're watching the video version. That actually looks pretty slick.
It's pretty trackpad.
Yeah, it's a nice combo there. A $99 stylus. So if you need a stylus, there you go. $39 folio case if you want the case, but you don't need the keyboard with it. And then this is all going to ship on May 8th via OnePlus. If you do pre-order before May 8th, you get 50% off a OnePlus Buds Pro 2 earbuds. So if you pre-order and you were already thinking of getting OnePlus Buds Pro 2, that's a really good deal.
Jackpot.
If you weren't going to get those things, then they're just understand they're getting more money out of you. That's what's actually happening there. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, so that's the OnePlus Pad. So soon we're going to be flush with tablets.
And look at the point there that I'm saying is that the OnePlus tablet $479, right? Sub 500. I don't know, and now admittedly, $149 magnetic keyboard, $99 style. And it starts it feels like you're flying a discount airline. But we'll see if Pixel throws all that stuff in to justify the high price point or not. But I feel like the Android tablet space is $250 to $500. That's the sweet spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I feel like if it's 600 and above. I mean, Samsung does have their tablets that are more expensive, and they're amazing tablets. Like, they're actually really, really great. But how many people are in the market for an Android tablet that costs $800? Like,
right, exactly.
I think that market's pretty small.
I know a lot of people that are Android users, but still, when it comes to a large screen, kind of higher end tablet, people tend to still drift for the iPad Pro, especially with like the pencil integration. It just feels like a more established story and product. And so honestly, it is nice when things work all together, but in the Android world, it's probably an easier sell for us to kind of have that one iPad device rather than other way around. So,
yeah. Now, if we were going to get emails about anything, we're probably getting emails about that. So, AAA at twit.tv, if you have thoughts, we would love to hear that.
Not about Motley Crue or Def Leppard.
Yeah, we don't need any more Motley Crue or Def Leppard on this show. That's for post-show. You better believe it.
Exactly.
All right, coming up next, some app news. This drummer on this song is definitely not upside down. That's a little too muted for upside down. Right? He's like, anyways, Win. Now that one maybe actually upside down. All right, Win, you got the first one. Save me.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Reddit's client apps now. And now there's a wide swath and a long history of Reddit's, clients, both official and unofficial. I've used freemium ones for years, and, typically freemium ones have ads, and then often they'll have a one-time fee to remove ads. Reddit has their own official app, which has some amazing developers on it. Hi, guys. Friends of, not the show, but me. But of course, for, those that aren't running the official app, something to note is that it is a $5.99 a month subscription for premium features and removes apps. So you can kind of see that there's a lot of a lot in the Reddit client ecosystem there between third-party apps and official apps. Well, there might be a bit of a shakeup in that ecosystem, or I don't know, like an asteroid, like the one that the dinosaurs kind of got nuked by, coming in, because Reddit has announced a significant change to its API and terms of use. And basically, Reddit is going to start charging devs for access to the platform API. And this charge will be based on the app's overall usage. So how much does a given app actually hit the API? So the details are not finalized yet, but Reddit says it will be, quote, reasonable with pricing and not prohibitively expensive. They are further quoted as saying, the goal is not to make this inherently a big profit center, but to cover both the costs of usage as well as the opportunity costs of users not using the official app, lost ad viewing, etc. So, I mean, it's hard to see, third-party free Reddit apps continuing after this. There's going to be they're not going to have, there's not a lot of incentive now when you have to pay for the cost of API to release a free app, but that still leaves room for certainly, premium Reddit apps like Apollo, for example, a Reddit client developed by Christian Selig, which does have an Apollo Ultra premium subscription version. And Selig himself has said that, he plans to kill the free version, but keep Apollo Ultra going. And to kind of offset the sting, I guess, of having devs actually pay for the Reddit API, Reddit says they intend to actually broaden the API so that devs can actually access premium features. For example, in the future, when this API is paid for, devs could even include things like Reddit chat, which previously they can't now. So they're trying to kind of offset it. Like, okay, if you actually pay for, Reddit API, it's not just that you're paying for what you got, but we'll try to sweeten the pie by actually giving you a more fully featured API. And just to put a little flavor on it, Christian Selig of Apollo did actually kind of go into a lot of questioning and kind of asking specifics from Reddit. And I mean, he, just to kind of paraphrase, he is relatively positive. He said this could be a positive change if done well and reasonably. And he does state that it provides a mean for third-party apps to have a stable, consistent, and future-looking relationship with Reddit. Of course, it does ride on whether the final pricing is reasonable, whatever that means. So I know I have feelings about this, but what do y'all think?
I know you do.
I figured you would.
I do. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Would you be sad or disappointed if, say, your theoretical, hypothetical, Reddit free client died because It definitely echoes what's going on in the social media space on Twitter, right? I mean, for sure, where yes. My preferred
timing, totally.
The timing is very similar to that.
Yeah.
My preferred Twitter client, Talon, went the way of the dodo because Twitter decided to shut off their API and all that sort of stuff. And it's a tough thing because I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but the egalitarian, decentralized internet that we all love, and it's built on APIs and services, and we can innovate and stuff like that is great, but it's also a bit of a non-capitalist pipe dream. And ultimately, the platforms control themselves. And if they decide they want to shut off their API so they can control the experience to achieve some business goal, that's, we might not like it, but that's up to that's their prerogative,
It's the same with speech on the platform and everything. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business, and that business, within the confines of what's legal, the law, can choose to do whatever they kind of want to with the business for better or for worse, for, as far as the users are concerned. Yeah. I mean, yes, if I was a user of a free Reddit app, like a hardcore user of a free Reddit app, and I found that the Reddit app was going away because of this, of course I'd be upset. Sure. If I don't know what it's like to be a developer, but I imagine if I was a developer with a free Reddit app, I'd be pretty pissed. But at the same time, I get it. I understand. At the end of the day, the Reddit is a business. They do make money off of ads that it sounds like on these third-party apps, they're not able to make that money. And so through that lens alone, the fact that it's been the way that it has been for as long as it has been is kind of interesting. It's kind of astounding. But of course, they have ambitions now. They want to, they're going to go public and everything. So these things were going to get buttoned up. It was only a matter of time. So I guess I kind of understand. And like you pointed out, when at least if they're going to change the rules at least they're giving a little bit something more for those paid apps. They're not cutting it off entirely. Like, we've seen that happen too, where it's like, nope, screw you. We realize we built our business around, the fact that there are third-party developers that support this, but we don't care about you anymore and you can't do it anymore. Like, we've seen that with Twitter. That's not happening here with Reddit, at least. So if you have an app and you have a premium version, you get to keep the premium version. That's something. I don't know if it's enough, but I don't know. That's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it, Win? I know you have opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think this is fairly reasonable. And I feel weird saying that because, again, as we mentioned, the timing is weird because there's a different story on certain bird sites where where when that happened on that site, it felt a little more icky and opportunistic and like whatever. But
the timing is strange.
But things cost money, developer time costs money, and even like upkeeping an API. So like that's actually something that I've been frustrated as a developer, is that a lot of companies don't offer, whatever. Pick your favorite app, pick your favorite even product, like whether that's like, for example, I have like a rower and it actually has a very beautiful API that I could integrate with, for example. So whatever your product is, if you want it to be integrated with, say, other kind of like partner apps or related apps, adjacent apps, you have to make an API, and making an API is not free. Like someone has to take that, the upkeep of that, the maintenance of that, adding features, responding to developers in the community that have either bug reports or feature requests or whatever. That's not free. That's someone's time. And we got to eat too, y'all. And like, I think if we can move to a model where, and again, it kind of, we'll have to see what the API cost eventually is and how scaled it is for, usage. Like maybe I would like to see something where if a user is using, I don't know what the numbers on this would be to make sense, but maybe if you have like less than 500 API calls a month, maybe it's free, something like that. Yeah. Whereas of course, someone that is a developer that has a very high traffic app, probably like Apollo or one of the other apps that we used to use. I don't know. I used Bacon Reader a long time ago. I don't even know if it's still around, but obviously if they are having more traffic, more users, more people paying for it, they would probably be able to pay more, and their app would cost more. So I think it's fair, and I would like to see how that works. And because if we can make this model, if Reddit can develop a model that is tenable, that is kind of like that is acceptable to devs, I think that'll just make the space better. And like there's so many great apps that could do more with integration and stuff like that, but just someone needs to do the work. And if you're expecting a company that actually, is a company that's a business, you can't always expect them to do it for free. Mm-hmm. It was nice back in the old days, in the wild, wild west of the web and the internet, but we all got to eat, and there's going to be an ROI. So if we can find a way for everyone to get compensated for their time, maybe we'll all get nicer things. That's just how the way it goes. So I'm positive and hopeful, but we'll see.
I forgot about Bacon Reader. That was my Reddit app of choice many years ago as well. But I mean, I've been using the official Reddit app. I was going to
say, is the official? It's so funny because I use the official Reddit app too, and it's fine. Like it's not an app that I either love or hate. Whereas for whatever reason, and probably because years of using Talon, I just loathe to use the official Twitter app. Mm-hmm. So like if Reddit wasn't offering a satisfying option through the official app, I could see this, being something more upsetting. Mm-hmm. But again, it's their business, it's their prerogative. We just this harkens back to the decade ago apocalypse when all the Facebook games developers got their knees cut out from them because Facebook changed the rules, and it just goes to show you can't build your business on someone else's back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Or if you do, you can. But if you do, understand that is probably there's a high likelihood that that's a time limited offer. And there's not a whole lot of choice you have about that. Mm-hmm. So if that happens, I guess you can make you can make some noise, and hopefully that changes how they do it. And, maybe they address your concerns that way. But yeah. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. Mm-hmm. So, anywho,
apps.
Yeah. So Blue Sky. Well, Win or Ron, one of you was talking about the decentralized. Oh, it was you, Ron.
I did. I mentioned it. Yep, I mentioned it. Yep.
Threw that out. Blue Sky, which was Jack Dorsey's formerly of Twitter, his open and decentralized approach to social media. It now has an Android app. And, they had developed for many years, this authenticated transfer AT protocol. And just in February, they launched an iOS app, a Blue Sky. Now we have the Android app. So the Android app came a little bit later. Still, the service is invite only. I did get an invite from Micah last week and was able to, create an account and kind of take a look. It's very much like Twitter.
It's very Twittery.
Shocking.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, except that there's not a lot of people on it because it's invite only. I don't know much of the surfing that I've done or browsing of it that I've done is just people I don't know, just kind of looking at the general timeline and everything. And I don't know, I'm just not using Twitter like social media right now. I maybe browse it maybe once, twice, 3, 4 times a week, and I'm not posting to it. And about the only social network, I was just saying in the chat room, about the only social network I actually use with any sort of regularity right now is Reddit. Reddit's the one that I turn to right now. I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of Reddit. But yet I don't think of Reddit in the same terms as a Twitter or a Blue Sky or a Mastodon or whatever. Like, they serve different things in my life, so I don't think of it as like the traditional social media, even though it totally is. But anyways, that's an aside. But so Blue Sky, if you want it on Android, you still got to get an invite. It's based on this idea of decentralization, kind of similar to what you were saying, Ron. That one person can't just decide on a whim to change things completely and everything. And we'll see how it develops over time. Even Mastodon, a lot of people moved over to Mastodon, but I don't know if it's, how much of a fraction of that is, compared to something like Twitter or even larger social networks. So, Blue Sky on Android.
All right. Well, the last bit of app news we have is a little bit of a blast from the past. Those of you who are old, like me and Jason, might remember Winamp. When did you ever use Winamp? Was that before your time?
I sure did. Cool. I'm also old.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt there.
I appreciate that. No, I'm old too.
But so Winamp was the beloved MP3 player that I used back in the day. First launched in 1997. Used it in its heyday in the early 2000s with the skins and all this. It was great. Winamp was the best. Well, it's coming to Android. (Parentheses again). So Winamp as an organization is undergoing a huge rehaul right now. They announced it a few months back, but now we know in Q3 a revamped web player will be followed by an Android and iOS app, but it's not going to look like anything you expect. In fact, I'm really excited about this direction they're taking. It looks a lot more like Spotify or Apple Music mixed with Patreon, which is fascinating. So in this execution, you don't subscribe to the service. You don't pay $9.99 a month to get access to Winamp or whatever it is. You subscribe to artists individually, which is awesome, which I think is very, very cool. It allows you to support artists directly. And I hope the music community embraces this because Lord knows I have a lot of friends who work in the music industry and I've seen the checks from Spotify that you wouldn't be surprised the number of decimal points under $1 that they can calculate to strip out value from your streams. But that says Winamp's current library is very, very lean or empty. But it's going to take time to ramp up. So we'll see if the music industry embraces it or not. If users embrace it, I'm going to be checking it out. I think it's pretty cool. But those of you who keep score at home, this is not the first time Winamp was on Android. They did have an Android app years and years ago, and it was killed in 2013. So this is Winamp coming around, like a boomerang coming around. But excited to see what their future looks like. Whoever's behind this, I'm curious to see what they come up with. So
I'm curious too. I mean, it's hard to say because it's so beginning. I mean, if you go to player.winamp.com, you can check out the web version of this. Yep. Obviously the Android version is not out yet, but you can kind of start to get a sense of what it is. And you browse to like the rock category, and then it gives you regions. So I could go into the North America and find this artist called Snack, S-N-A-K. Hey, I just threw it out on a podcast. You're famous. And so we go there and it's like select membership plan, $1 a month. You get access to my full catalog. On another one, it was like $5 a month. You get access to full catalog. You get, updates on new music as they come out. You get, they offer little perks for if you subscribe, I guess. So I don't know. Interesting.
I like the idea. I mean, I'm not a musician. I'm not in the music industry, so I don't know whether this model would actually work. But I like the idea of a Patreon style,
that's totally what
service.
It is.
Because I'm a very, very I feel like I'm humble bragging about how much I like. I like Patreon because I like being able to directly support people that I consume content from. And if I could more directly do that with musicians, all the better. So I don't know if this model's going to work, but I like them trying something different.
Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting. Yeah. From an artist standpoint, okay, so I'm looking at another artist, Karelia, and it says $5 or actually €5 a month, official tablature and notations, monthly Q&A sessions, behind-the-scenes content, extra future expansions, early access to music videos. So it's very, very Patreon-y.
Very super.
Access to extended music catalogs. So that's got to be a given. If you're an artist, you have your music. Hopefully, if anyone's paying for it, they get access to your music. For €1 a month, you get blogs and updates. You get access to the catalog of music. You get Discord, and then you get more for the $5. So yeah, this is interesting. I think purists of Winamp might be a little disappointed. They're like, oh, just bring back the classic player, So probably it doesn't look like you're going to get that, but there you go. So interesting.
As long as it has skins. I skin the crap out of Winamp.
Yeah, I don't see any skins on the web version.
I need some skins, man.
Oh, I skinned it to the point. I skinned it to the point of no usability.
Yes.
Yes, that is how you do it. I love it.
That was such a fun time exploring those things. That felt so powerful. It was like, oh, I can what I could have, it be black and white and look like it was drawn with a crayon. That's amazing. Whatever.
Pit of skins.
Was that
bottomless pit of skins?
Oh, totally. I mean, it was it was such a time suck searching for those. Also a time suck is JR's Android intelligence tip. Because when he pulls you in, he doesn't let go until you know everything there is to know about the YouTube app on Android. Here's another one. I think this might be the last one, though. Here you go.
Greetings, one and all. So we've been on a bit of a long, strange trip through all sorts of splendid YouTube goodness these past few weeks. And today we're going to bring it all home with a pair of really helpful features hidden away in the YouTube Android app. They're features that, dare I say, few mere mortals even realize exist. Let me show you. All right, so first, get this. The YouTube Android app has a built-in automatic transcription system that lets you scan through the text of any video you're watching and even jump ahead to any specific part. I honestly had no idea about this myself until I randomly stumbled onto it whilst poking around haphazardly, like a madman, as one does. But once you know where to find it, it couldn't be much easier to use. Here's the trick. While you're watching any video in YouTube on your phone, tap the tiny More text beneath its title at the start of its description, and then look for the section that says Transcript. Tap the Show Transcript button in that area, and sure enough, there she blows. No matter what it is you're watching, you can now scan ahead to see what'll be said as the video progresses, and you can tap on any line in that area to skip directly to that moment. Next, ever find yourself wanting to share a specific part of a video with someone? Maybe a friend, a coworker, a marmot who happens to be your mortal nemesis, or any other kind of 10-toed creature? Well, listen up, you gorgeous son of a gibbon. At some point in the not too distant past, Google started rolling out a new clips feature that makes it easy as can be to create your own custom clip of any YouTube video and then share it with anyone you want, marmot or otherwise. But it's really tucked away and out of sight, and you'd never know it was possible if you didn't know where to look. The secret is to scroll horizontally along the line of buttons between the creator's name and the comments area within any video you're viewing. You never know it, but some extra options are waiting for you at the other end of that row, and one of them, sure enough, is clip. Tap that thing and tap it good, and YouTube will give you a super simple tool for selecting a small segment of the video you want, anywhere from 5 seconds to a full minute. You can just slide the little guide around to get it in the exact place and at the exact length you want, then give the thing a title and tap the share clip button at the bottom of the screen. You'll get a special YouTube link that'll let anyone view your custom clip of that video in an endlessly repeating loop. Not bad, right? There is so much more where that came from, so if this YouTube series has been helpful for you, come sign up for my Android Intelligence newsletter. It gives you 3 new things to try every Friday, and if you reply to my welcome email and let me know you came from Twit and you want my complete YouTube power user guide, well, I'll write back and I'll send you a massive guidebook I put together with all the tips we've gone over these past few weeks and a bunch of other useful stuff for the YouTube website too. Just head over to androidintel.net/twit to get started. That's androidintel.net/twit. Hope to see you there, and I will absolutely see you right back here next week.
Gotta say, I appreciate JR's ability to find the best of the best videos on YouTube. Episode 1 of All About Android, of course, and perhaps the best live performance that Nelson ever had of After the Rain. Am I right? I mean, that part of the video that JR clipped out as the example, I watch that on repeat all the time. It blows my mind. Nelson, they were so good. Thank you, JR Raphael. Android Intelligence, that is androidintel.net to check out the newsletter. And I'm curious what next week is. I think he kind of alluded to next week not being YouTube. We will find out. And if it is YouTube, it's probably something you really, really, really didn't know existed. So, stop sharing those band. What was that band? Nelson, stop sharing their GIFs in the Discord, please. You're distracting.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, they're very distracting. I need to look away.
Yes, they are. Oh, okay. That is not good. Yeah.
All right, coming up, your feedback is next. AAA at twit.tv, 347-SHOW-AAA. Win, you got the first one.
Yes, and we've got a voicemail from Chris from Mobile. Love it. We love the voicemails. So thank you, Chris from Mobile.
Hey, Android faithful. This is Chris from Mobile. I called last year. Now I've got something really interesting. I'm trying to find a dumb smartphone. I want a smartphone, but I want it to just have telephone and messages. That's all I need on it. I don't need anything else. I don't need apps. I don't even really need the App Store of all things. But I know I have to have that for updates. Is there anything you can suggest, especially something to lock down a phone like that? Keep people from adding extra apps. Thanks.
It looks like this voicemail I put it in and I forgot to do any research. But there are notes here, so someone did research.
I did.
Oh, thank you, Win. Thanks for the save. I completely forgot.
So Chris from Mobile, I did a little research, and to be honest, I think a lot of the smartphones that I came up that were phone and text only were phones for your kids, with parental controls and all kinds of stuff that I assume that you would not want. But there was a super interesting phone that I came across, and that is the Lite phone.
Lite phone.
It is not an Android phone, but it is a phone with an e-ink screen. It looks like it actually is available unlocked on Verizon. But yeah, it's a super simple phone. The mission is, as you say, to kind of undistract or de-distract us from our kind of bad smartphone having lives. And again, it's like an e-ink screen. And yeah, it's super stripped down. And actually, I know, like, so, Chris, what you were concerned about is kind of like making sure that you had updates. And it's kind of hard to tell because, it's not, I couldn't see any policy or find any policy was like, hey, we, update for this many years or whatever. But it does seem that they are, the folks that are still doing software updates for the Lite phone are very serious about it. They mentioned like supporting one of I think probably the version 1 of this phone for like the last 3 years. And if you look at the change log for Lite OS, which is the OS that this runs on, I mean, they've been having updates like almost every single month for at least, as far as I can tell, the last like 6, 8, maybe more months, from a cursory glance. So,
wow, good job.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't do as much looking because I was like, is this what you're looking for? Because it's not Android, but it is a dumb smartphone, or at least a very stripped down smartphone, and it runs on e-ink, which is kind of nice. Which I presume the battery might be better than your average smartphone. So
yeah,
I don't know, and it's really slick. I
think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. It might
great.
not run Android, but I think that's a slippery slope when you kind of go down the Android world, because I think it's going to be probably, maybe that phone exists, but it's going to be really hard to find a phone that supports Android and all the things, and they actively choose to not, to have Android on there, but not give you access to the things that kind of make Android even more powerful. Like, this seems like the way to go. This is going to keep any of that extra stuff from ending up on the phone in whatever way, and it's going to keep it focused. So I don't know. I like it. I forgot about this phone, so I'm happy because I know that we've talked about this phone on the show.
We definitely talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely when we were going through the small phone phase and things like that, and yeah, the Lite phone is definitely one that we've discussed. Which is, I'm glad to see it's still around. So
and being updated regularly, that's awesome. That's really great news. Sometimes these devices, they come out and they sound really great, but it's a small company. It's just a handful of people, and the long-term commitment ends up being too much. Or so it seems, because that support ends up dragging and falling off a cliff. So not the case here. So I think that's an interesting one to pursue.
Yeah, the developers on this are very active. Like, I'm seeing like May, June last year, August. Like there's some love going into the software on this phone, at least as far as I can see from as much work as they're putting into it, as many updates as they're doing. So yeah, shoot, I kind of want one. It's great, and I love e-ink devices, so that's a sucker punch to my heart. So yeah, Chris from Mobile, I don't know, maybe this is an option for you. I know it will take you out of our sphere a little bit, but I don't know, it's a really cute phone, and I hadn't heard of the Lite phone before doing my very cursory research for your email, but I kind of want it now. So yeah, thanks for your email.
Cool. Thank you for the email. Mark B writes in to say, hey, AAA, has Samsung fixed this yet? Can I use Wi-Fi? What is Mark B talking about? Well, he is talking about the Exynos modem issues that we talked about, I don't know, it was probably a month, maybe 2 months ago. And I have good news for you, Mark. Yes, Samsung's April security update addressed this. So earlier this month, Samsung pushed an update to its phones that directly fix the Exynos flaws that are behind kind of the Wi-Fi insecurity issues and everything with Exynos devices. So that's really good news. It's, there's your answer. Hopefully you got that update on your device. You didn't mention which device you have, so I can't tell you whether it's available on your actual exact device, but I assume you have one that's relatively recent. And my understanding is that Samsung pushed this out, to all of their currently updated phones that actually have the Exynos chip in them. So you should be good. And I think that fix also directly impacted Google phones. So running the Tensor chip, and Google's pushed out that update. So my understanding is if for the majority of the phones that this Exynos vulnerability, was plaguing those devices, that the updates are out there. So it's just a matter of, did your phone get the update? And if it did, then you're good. So good news for you, Mark. There you go. And over to Ron.
Yes, it is my honor after missing last week to return to you, my friends, with the... I did not expect to get such a loud fanfare for the email of the week. This comes from up north, up in Toronto. Our good friend Derek writes in and says, "Hey gang, longtime listener from the Gina days." Very cool, sir. I've written in a few times, but this is the first with a question. I'm having a smart lock issue that's driving me nuts. For some reason, smart lock seems to be turning itself off. If you go to the smart lock screen, all you see is a blank screen with no option to even enter your PIN. I've looked at the forums online and found that you need to update. Well, that was a given, right? We talked about that earlier. Like, have you tried updating, right? Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? And then he says, that's a given. I have a Pixel 6 and keep it up to date. The main reason I buy a Pixel. And B, toggle off and back on trust agents. The latter works for about 10 to 30 minutes, and then I have to do it again. It's driving me nuts. I have to log into my phone all the time, at home, in the car, and with Android Auto enabled. By the way, thanks, Ron, for being the guinea pig on AA Wireless. Bought it too and love it. And even with a smartwatch connected. Any ideas or suggestions? So what do y'all think here in terms of this issue?
Now, on this one, I did actually remember to research.
You did the research on this one, Jason? Yeah.
So Samsung actually acknowledged this week, I believe. Is this news from this week? Let's see here. Oh, go away, cookie pop-up. From April 18th. So it was last week. Basically, Samsung has confirmed that they are addressing any of the smart lock issues that are happening with Galaxy phones. That's happening sometime this week. So you're not going to have to wait much longer. This is going to be done via a Google Play Services update. So it's going to happen without the need of like an OS update. It's just going to happen behind the scenes for you. And hopefully that addresses the issue that you're having. But yes, this news is relatively fresh, so you're not the only one.
Jason, did Derek not say he had a Pixel 6?
Yes, he had a Pixel 6, he said.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Oh, my goodness. I totally...
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
I was wondering why it said Samsung there. So
that's okay. But apparently I failed on emails this week. I got 1 out of 3 right.
But is it an issue regardless of device though? Or?
I think it is, because when I looked it up, there were so many emails and forum posts and all kinds of articles for Pixel and for Samsung. So and all of them said to do what Derek has already done. So I'm not that helpful either. I can only presume that there's like a widespread problem with it. And the only thing that I came up with is that, well, I know that our very Michelle Roman said that it looks like they are going to rebrand Smart Lock to Extend Lock. So I'm going to do a little developer supposition, theory crafting, conspiracy crafting, that maybe there's something about the rebranding where I don't know what they're doing. I don't actually know how Smart Lock necessarily works under the hood, but I don't know if something's there, because maybe they're rejiggering it and it's just messing it up for folks. And I don't know. The skeptical side of me is saying they know they're going to redo it, so they're not. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like something is up with everyone, because everyone's having problems.
So basically, Samsung has done something to address this.
Yeah, maybe they have some kind of like sidestepping that they can do.
Google has not on the Pixel. Yeah. I'm looking at the support page that I got that link from that story that I mentioned on Samsung. That's what I think once I saw that link, I was like, oh, there's the solution. I completely forgot about the Pixel aspect of things. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I don't know what to recommend. Other than, gosh, I mean, it seems like it's on the radar at least. If some fixes are being pushed out for this, but it's not helping you on the Pixel, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it really does seem like that support issue is kind of recommending all the things you probably, Derek, you probably saw the same support issue page that I saw, because it's recommending the same things that you are already doing, and that's annoying. I had to imagine that a fix is coming. You
got to assume, and so keep an eye on those product forums. See how it develops. You're clearly can't be you're not the only person who's having that issue. Immensely frustrating though, and I feel for you. So I wish we could be more help, though.
That stinks.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Or Derek.
But regardless, I mean, the upside, Ron, right? I'll let you have the honors.
That he was the email of the week.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Cool.
I wasn't putting you on the spot for anything difficult.
I was like,
I'm guessing.
Close it out.
I didn't want to close it though for you. You get to open it and close it. All right. Well, we've reached the end. Before I get anything else wrong, we're going to go ahead and finish this episode.
There it is.
Of All About Android. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Thank you, Win. It's great to hang out with you. What do you want to leave people with?
Yes, I am an Android dev. I do this most days, and you can find stuff that I do, talks, video, and code on my website, randomlytyping.com. And if there's a social media thing, I'm probably there under Queen Code Monkey. And if I'm not, let me know. I'm going to grab that handle.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But let me know. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And yeah, happy to be here as always.
Thank you, Win. And thank you, Ron. All three of us at Google I.O. That is so amazing.
It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be cool to not only be at Google I.O., but I'm also super excited, Jason, to be in studio the night before to do the show.
Heck yeah, we're going to do that. We are absolutely going to do that. So let's make
It's going to be very, very cool. It's very, very cool to do that, as I will be on the West Coast for that. So I'm super excited. You should be too. In the meantime, if you can't contain your excitement, head over to ifanboy.com where you can listen to the latest monthly Media Explode podcast where me and my buddies talk about movies and TV shows. We talked about the Dungeons and Dragons movie that I saw in the theaters, which was awesome. And then we ranked Quentin Tarantino's films, and I give my official ranking of Quentin Tarantino's Auth of films. If you're into that sort of stuff, you can go to ifanboy.com. It's on the podcast feed. You can check that out. I think it's like 2 episodes ago. And check that out. I appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, RonXO.
Yes, indeed.
We'll see you next week.
Make sure and do that. So, thank you, Ron. Thank you, JR, Android Intelligence. That's androidintel.net/twit. JR Rayfield does an awesome job with that newsletter. Subscribe. Thank you, Burke, for all the tech wrangling today. A little bit extra layers of complication and difficulty today, but you pulled it off as you usually do. So thank you, Burke. Thank you, Victor, behind the scenes. His magic has not been completed yet, but you will know it's completed because you will receive the podcast. And Victor is responsible for making all of that happen. So thank you, Victor, in advance. You can find me at Jason Howell on Twitter, twit.social/@JasonHowell. Hold on, Blue Sky. What is my Blue Sky ID? At jasonhowell.bsky.social. That's easy. There you go. So you can find me on Blue Sky if you like. And doing Tech News Weekly with Micah Sargent this Thursday. I know that we've got Mark Gurman lined up as one interview, and we're working on more, so make sure and check that out. Don't forget Club Twit, twit.tv/Club Twit. This is our ad-free subscription tier, so you get all of our shows with all the ads removed. Actually, you wouldn't even hear this ad if you were subscribed. You also get exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed content, shows that don't exist outside of the club, Home Theater Geeks, Hands on Windows, Hands on Mac, the Untitled Linux Show, Stacy's Book Club, lots of stuff happening. It was extra interviews and that sort of stuff. And members only Discord. That's $7 per month. And all the details that you need can be found at twit.tv/Club Twit. And you help us directly when you're a subscriber. So thank you. We really do appreciate it. As for this show, we publish this show every Tuesday evening, twit.tv/AAA. Go there, subscribe, and then forget about it because it's going to show up in your feed like magic. And you don't have to work for it anymore. It just appears for you. It's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time on All About Android. Bye, everybody.
Hey there, Scott Wilkinson here. In case you hadn't heard, Home Theater Geeks is back. Each week, I bring you the latest audio-video news, tips and tricks to get the most out of your AV system, product reviews, and more. You can enjoy Home Theater Geeks only if you're a member of Club Twit, which costs $7 a month. Or you can subscribe to Home Theater Geeks by itself for only $2.99 a month. I hope you'll join me for a weekly dose of home theater geekitude.